Hello everyone, my name is Suman Dua and I'm a registered migration agent at Nationwide Migration and Education. We make videos every week in regards to Australian migration, and if you are interested in this topic, you may wish to subscribe to our channel. Welcome to another Q&A session with me. We have received your questions through the comments on our YouTube channel, and I will be answering some of your questions in this video today. So the first one I have is, I have received offer letter from employer, but I'm having 1 year work experience. Can I apply for a 482 visa? Now, to be eligible to apply for a 482 visa as an applicant, you need to have a minimum of 2 years work experience in the nominated occupation. So if you're someone who only has 1 year work experience, then you may want to look at the 407 training visa, because 482 visa is not applicable for your situation. Next one I have is hotel hospitality managers eligible for 190 visa in Brisbane? So your occupation is open for 190 visa. You can lodge an expression of interest for a 190 visa, but I think it will depend how many applicants have applied for a 190 visa who may have higher points than you or higher work experience than you. So even though the requirement is 80 points for a 190 visa, but what we have noticed, especially in the hospitality sector, if you want to get an invite for 190, you may want to compete with a lot of applicants, which will require higher points and higher work experience. So the next one I have is, which states are best to study in 2023? So there are some states who prioritize the international graduates from their state. So some of these states are Western Australia, South Australia, Northern Territory and Tasmania. But then again, it will depend what course you wish to do and what will be your nominated occupation before we pick a state for you. Can dependent apply during 408 visa? Now 408 visa, if you're talking about the COVID visa, it's an onshore visa. So if you want your dependent to apply for a 408 visa, they need to be here in Australia. So if they're offshore at the moment and if they can come here on a tourist visa, then they can look at applying for a 408 visa as a dependent applicant. Can a primary applicant of 491 visa work in any field to show the tax amount for 3 years? That's correct. So the 491 visa has no such condition that you have to work in your nominated occupation only. So you could work in any occupation, you could work on TFN or you could work on ABN, and you could also combine the two incomes from TFN and ABN to meet the taxable income requirement. Next one I have is, I have got one question. I am doing a professional year program, and once I get the completion letter, I will get the degree assessment. Professional year points expire in 3 years. Professional year also works as skills assessment for students who don't have 1 year experience in their occupation. But once your PYP expires, we definitely lose 5 points. But then how can I do the skills assessment after 3 years? Because we can never go for any general skills visa without skills assessment. If anyone can help me out with this. So I think what you're trying to ask is that professional year program, it expires in 4 years from the start date. So it expires in 3 years from the completion date. And if you are someone whose skills assessment has expired, then how you're going to get the skills assessment if professional year program has expired. Now regarding this, I would like to tell you that professional year program expires for the migration points, but it actually does not expire if you wish to get a skills assessment based on that. So let's say after 4 years, you want to apply your skills assessment again with ACS, you can still submit the same professional year program completion letter and get a positive skills assessment. It's just that you cannot claim any points for that professional year program. Which trade courses are best to study in 2023? So we have got various videos regarding the best trade courses available to study in 2023. We will put a link in the description of this video. Next one I have is there any problem to apply for 189 190 visa while I'm already on a 489 visa issued on 10th December 2019? Now, there is no such condition that you cannot apply for a 189 or 190 visa while holding a 489 visa. Such conditions apply for the 491 and the 494 visa, which is also a regional skilled visa. But these conditions do not apply for a 489. In fact, we have been successful in getting 190 or a 189 visa for many of our 489 visa applicants. Okay, next one I have is, I'm wondering if there is any residency requirements for Victoria 190 offshore applicants. So for example, I checked the requirements for ACT 190 offshore applications, and it says you have to at least have lived offshore for a year in the past. Does Victoria 190 offshore also have such requirement? If so, how long the applicants should have lived offshore to be eligible to apply for Victoria 190 nomination offshore? So there is no such requirement how long you need to be offshore to apply for a 190 with Victoria. However, if you have a visa to stay in Australia and you're applying for Victoria 190 from offshore, then that will be inconsistent information. Can someone living in Queensland apply for Victoria's Skilled Migration Program? So if you're living in Queensland, you cannot apply for Victoria's nomination program, because the requirement is either you need to be living in Victoria or you need to be living offshore. So the next one I have is, any chances for chef to get invited for 190? So far, you have not seen any 190 invitations. So for Victoria's nomination for 190, if you will have a look at their frequently asked questions, they have mentioned that they will be prioritizing some of the occupations, and of course they will be prioritizing hospitality occupations as well. But they have mentioned that they will be prioritizing hospitality occupations only for a 491 nomination. So these were all the questions I wanted to answer in this video today. Please leave your questions in the comments below and I will reply to them in my next Q&A video. Stay updated about Australia's immigration. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel.